Okay, this is a video about making a merchant analysis. Now, there have been other videos I made about getting the data that are long and boring. No other way to say that. They're kind of repetitive. They go through match and index and indirect, match and index and indirect a whole bunch of times. This one, I've decided to just say, okay, we have the data, and here's the data, and uh, uh, we have the data, and we're going to, I'll look at the data in just a minute, and we're going to analyze the data and kind of go backwards and see how much the profit on different types of power plants would have been. Now, this is data from the EIA. Here's their EIA map, and each place there's kind of a electricity place and a gas place, electricity and gas, electricity and gas, and all this. Now, it was really a pain to get the gas prices right with because there are different spreads against the Henry Hub price at each price. But what we have is back through 2001. Whoops. We have the 2007, 2008. So we have these look like they're daily prices, not hourly. They're not hourly prices, and they're actually just on peak prices. You can kind of tell. Uh, Here, there's a space. Uh-oh. This you can see there's not even prices in some cases for every day. Eventually, it gets to be every day. So same thing with the gas prices. We have them for every day. So they're not hourly prices. Here are the gas prices. And then the only thing I did was I did make a price chart. If you go to this place, okay, why do I have this here? I can move this. Okay, and this is silly to do. Let's just make this much smaller. Okay, and then a lot of the data analysis was just getting the rows. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, and here's what I was just about to show you. We can get the different areas, and that was the big challenge, really, with the with the data. Okay. I was going to show you some other stuff, but let's, we'll clean it up later. So, okay. Um, so the first thing we can do is let's graph for each one of these places. Let's graph the electricity and the gas price. Okay. So now if I press Shift Control down, we have a NA. I already set it up with the NA little trick. Shift Control. Whoops. I'm gonna have to start again. We want to graph this one. Okay. Uh, Here's the first one, and then press the Control key, and then just press F11. And then what happens is because you have those NAs, or I put those NAs in rather, the uh, the dates automatically don't show the NA dates. Okay. Now, if you would go and format the data series and put it on the secondary axis, then we have this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on putting the axis here. This is this must be the electricity price. And this is the gas price. Okay, there are some extreme kind of spikes. Now, when you do this, before you type the title in on the graph, I have, especially with some large data, found a bug. We'll put gas and electricity price. Okay, now, and just press enter. Sometimes this causes the Excel to crash. Now, because we, on this drop-down box, because we made it so it goes to the different places, we'll copy this and put this on the graph. Okay, and now we can see what happens. So this is the Indiana hub. You can see that it's certainly correlated on an hourly basis, or on a daily basis rather, with the gas price. It might not be perfect. Here's the knee pool, so you can see this. Now, what this doesn't really tell you is what kind of profit are we really making on different kind of power plants. Okay, and to do that, I think we're first going to, so let's call this the gas and electricity. Okay, now, and let's move this to I'm going to move the graphs to the end. Now, okay, so, excuse me, these are all our kind of name things. There are a lot of boring stuff here. Now, after we put the gas price in, now we can compute the implied heat rate. Now, it gives you a good indication, or a reasonable, not a great indication, of how much you could have made on a gas plant. The problem with this is that if they're negative heat rates, you wouldn't dispatch. It doesn't have the optionality in it. So if you take the electricity price divided by the gas price, that gives you a heat rate. This would be, in terms of BTU per kilowatt hour, this would be 5,900. It would not be very good, because a gas plant could not have been profitable. And here, when it goes down to 4, this would have been horrible. Now, once it gets to 7 or 8, then you can profitably run a gas plant. When it gets to 65, you make a whole bunch of money. Okay, now, so let's practice this graph again. So you'd shift control down, and then go to the last one, shift control up, press F11, and we have the heat rate. And since it's got only one series, put the title on here, and let's put daily implied heat rate. And let's do what we have been doing each time. Well, no, we've just done it once. Let's copy this. I think I press Shift Control C. I think this, and Shift Control. Oops. Control page down. Excuse me. Oops. this is okay. I'm just trying to press control page down on my laptop and having incredible problems. Control function. Unbelievable that I just had that problem. Okay. And so we can see what's happened. I don't know what happened to the Indiana's. Did we have, but we might have on this one had some different dates right at the end. Did we have more specific dates? Oh God. Okay. And Palo Verde. So there's a lot of places where the uh, and this is the one we just looked at where they're kind of going up. Southern California. This wasn't very good. Okay. I'm not. Okay. Enough. And so let's move this. Now the next thing we can compute is the spark spread. But to compute the spark spread, it's a little more interesting. The spark spread is going to be computed by, we need a heat rate. So let's put a heat rate of 6,800. And we'll put spark spread. Now, if we wanted to do some kind of analysis on a wind plant or something, we could simply put the heat rate to be 0. So the spark spread is the price minus the, press F for the heat rate times the gas price. Now, the big question here, oh, this was NEPL, so we had a positive spark spread. This is all positive. Just a minute. This seems bizarre. It can't be all positive. There's one negative. Okay. Okay. This one, we had some negative spark spreads. Now, I don't know the rules. I think, when you look at the definitions, they say, oh, just subtract it. But I'm going to make sure the spark spread is not negative. So we just put a maximum of this, comma 0. Now, you can also, if you'd want to compute this, so then we had no spark spreads, and then we can kind of see what's happened to the spark spread over time. Okay, and this is dollar per megawatt average for the for the whole period. Okay, I'm sorry for this would be the average spark spread over the day. Okay, and let's do the same thing. Shift Control down, press the Control key, click on this, Shift Control up, press F11, and we have the spark spreads kind of going up in this region, and we're just going to copy this and put this into Okay. Okay. And let's just see what happened to this one. Here's the mid-continent. That didn't do so well. Here's Nepal. We have some good spark spreads here. This is this one, Palo Verde. This the spark spread seems to be smaller, but the scale is very different. Uh, and PJM, and this is the kind of question: is it going up over time? And this one, this wasn't very good. Okay, so there we have the spark spread. Now, so let's put daily. Now, once we have the spark spread, uh, then we'll go back. Okay, let's go. Okay. Now the final thing it's very similar to the spark spread. We can get the profits, but to get the profit on a okay, on this one, let's put the variable cost, and let's put 3.75 as our cost per megawatt hour. Okay. We can put this was still the end of the California prices, and then you can see kind of what's happened. The profits gone down and up and up. Okay, and then the profit would be the electricity price minus the gas price multiplied by the heat rate. And then we also need to subtract this. And press F4, of course. Oops, not F3, F4. And Shift Control 1. And put this as the maximum of this. Or 0. Okay. It's really essentially the same thing. Now, I'm not going to we'll see why this is a nice little statistics, because we can add this profit up for a month. Now, if we, let's convert all of this data from daily data, press Shift F11, and let's first put monthly data. Now, the first thing let's do is just put it. Let's get the last date. Oops, not the last data, the last date. And I suppose we can just put the maximum of the date. Oops, that didn't work so well, but it's just calculating. Shift Control 3. Just a minute, I'm going to take a small stop of this. So we're now, let's make it a monthly analysis. Let's put the month here, and then we'll have kind of the x-axis. We'll put it up here. and then we'll put the electricity price and the gas price, and then the market heat rate, the spark spread, and then let's put the profit. How about let's put the days, and then let's put the profit. Now the profit, the difference between the profit and the others, this will be summed, and if we have the profit is summed per hour, and we have to multiply each month the number of days by the hourly, excuse me, that's wrong. We'll sum the profit, but that will be the sum of an hourly profit, and we'll have to make an adjustment. Let's just make an adjustment. Okay, and this, by the way, this profit will, and let's put the start date. Okay, and the start date will be this one. Okay, now the best way to do this, when we're going to use a sum if or an average if, the first thing we need to do is to put the month end, and then over here let's put the year, because we're going to have to do the same thing for here. So we put EO month, and you just put a comma 0 here, shift control 3, and then for the year you just put year. Okay, this is again working with dates, which is a crucial kind of a issue, and now these little indices will be used for the monthly analysis and the annual analysis. So we're going to do basically exactly the same thing for the annual. So for the month, let's start with EO month and get it for this one. Put 0, that means it's the same month. You're just going to the end of the month. And then you can put EO month and put 1, and it'll go to the end of the next month. And then we can go all the way down. And we haven't come close to finishing. We were near the financial crisis. I should have a better way to, well, you know, I'm going to leave this, even though it went way too far. Well, how about, I believe by the year 2016, everything will be different again with the data. So for the x-axis, we'll put an if statement. If this thing is greater than or equal to, I suppose, this one, press F4, then we take the date. Otherwise, we put NA and and close the bracket. If this date is less than or equal to. And now shift control 3, and then it's exactly the same thing with one little exception, which is not a little exception, but we have NAs instead of the dates. Now to get the average, we put average if, and then it's kind of easy, because the first thing you do is you go to you have to go to that monthly one, and then you go to the monthly data and say, well, we want it when that month is equal to this one. And, because we're going to do this again for the other, we can press F4 on this one. And then on this one, we'll press F4 just to get to the this one. And then we go to the time series data, and we can click on this date, and then I suppose you can get this one. Shift Control. Now, okay. Now, if we put the Indiana, we got different prices. I wonder what happened to that one. Okay. There looked like I didn't like that divide by zero, but you know what I'm gonna do is just leave it. Perhaps there wasn't any February data for that. Now for the gas price, we can copy this. Then we just put a different column in. And then we have the implied heat rate, spark spread. Why don't we put this here? Okay, and then we can put profit sum. Okay, and the reason I made it like this is that then we can just copy these. Okay. Okay. This was Q. What? This shouldn't have been excuse me, this should not have been locked. Why did I lock that? Oh, I didn't lock it. It did it itself. Somehow it decided to do that. Okay, so now we can okay, and we have this. Now that to get the profit, we could also copy this, but this time instead of getting the average if, we can put sum if. Now, this is the I've got two ifs at the end. Now this is and we should divide it by 1,000, and this is then going to be the dollar per kW. Okay. We make a whole lot more on a megawatt than a kilowatt, so we have to divide it by, and did I divide it by 1,000? Okay. Just a minute. Let's put counts. Okay, so why did that U and T, just a minute. Well, no wonder. I was summing the dates. Okay, and then we can let's just redo the countif. Now, this one we simply want to count how many values we have. Suppose we could do it on any of them, and let's count when this date is. I was wrong just now. Is equal to that date. Okay, so we have 17 values here, and this now makes a lot more sense. This is our sum of all the profits. Just a minute. Okay. Let's put dollar per MW per month. So the annualized would be, we would take this one, we better divide it by 1,000, multiply it by 12, and let's multiply it by 30.5, because this is how many days we have. Excuse me, just a minute. Okay, did I just turn it on? I hope. Okay. Um, do you mind if I hope you don't mind that I have the little counter up there? 33 minutes of this shit. But to do this, I needed to just slow down and be careful. This is the sum of 17 days, but it's just got an hourly value. We have to multiply it by 16 hours. There's 16 peak hours to get the total monthly sum, okay? And then what we can do is we have 17 days, and they're typically 30.5 days in a month, so we can kind of make a little ratio to get this. Okay, now when we do that, this gives you the dollar per, this is really a dollar per megawatt per hour summed, kind of. I don't know, but this is a dollar per kW per month. Okay, and so we divide it by 1,000, and then we can put annualized, and then just simply multiply this by 12 to see how much money we could really make on this over a whole year. So that was a little bit of a pain. Okay. Now, why don't we, instead of making too many graphs, perhaps what we could do is make one graph that just, well, let's make the electricity and the price, gas price first. So just press F11, and now this is in the way. Let's make it a line graph, and put this on the secondary axis, and I hope you see that this is now the correlation between the electricity and the gas looks a whole lot stronger. So this is monthly electricity and gas. Okay. So it kind of the daily thing, electricity and gas. Now, now, now we okay. The first thing I'm going to do is, as soon as I get to this, okay, you know, okay, so let's look at Palo Verde, for example. We have a correlation. The problem is we kind of have this funny stuff at the beginning. Uh, okay. Now, how about for the rest of this, let's just make a little bit of a more flexible graph. The uh, what we're going to do now is let's take this. How about we'll get we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How about that? And just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's transpose that. Okay, and the reason I had to count 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and then you press Shift, Control, Enter, not just Enter. Okay, now after you've done this, you can make a nice little uh, uh, thing here, and then we put it, as usual, we go to another sheet, back to, I hope we're in the monthly, crap. Well, that was just a waste just now, because we should have done it in the monthly data. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. Let's do them all 9. This will be just a little bit lazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 equal transpose and set Shift Control Enter, and okay. Okay, and then we put the okay, and then we can put equal. Let's put index. and then we just press okay. And so this one so now we can put this on the graph and just kind of get whatever we want. And we'll do the same thing. Shift Control down, hold the Control key. Shift Control up, F11. So this is our spark spread, and then this time let's put both of them here. Both of the drop-down boxes. First, the Palo Verde drop-down box. And then the spark spread drop-down box. Okay. And, whoops, did I just copy that or not? Perhaps not. Well, so now we can look at any of the different one, which particularly the annualized profit, that's really what I want to see. And the problem is it's so distorted by the early years, but let's look at PGM, for example. You can see the profit kind of going up over time. And let's just look at the electricity price and the gas price and the market heat rate, which really hasn't done much. Let's look at PJM. That one went up a little bit. NEPOL, heat rate, but it looks like a much better heat rate in NEPOL. Should be making profits there. Mid-Columbia doesn't, not much movement. Okay. And let's see how much profit we would have made. Oh, we have this distortion again. I suppose we could put a begin date on this, but I'm not going to. How about I'll just call this the monthly graph. You know, I'm going to put a different start date. So it's just not so difficult. So what we can do is do something that kind of same thing. 2001. Okay, and Shift Control 3. Okay. Okay. How about EO month? And then comma 0. Yeah, and then Shift Control 3, and then EO month, and we just go and put 1. Shift Control 3, and then go all the way down. Okay, and once we have this, we'll kind of make another thing like this. I guess I'll make a new one. Developer, insert the, and we right click. And then we select the Okay, and let's put this one, let's put an index and select all this and go up to 5. Shift Control 3, so that's our start date. How about graph? Okay, and then we just put the this one. Okay, and for the x-axis, then, whoops, we can put and this thing has to be less than the end, and this date again has to be greater than or equal to the start date. And then we can put the same thing. And now we have NAs before the thing starts. Perhaps we should really move this. Okay. And we can put this thing on the... Oops. So now if I wanted to see this on a different date, we can kind of take away those first dates and just focus on a different period. That's how we can make our graphs really kind of flexible. We don't need the offset function, which I used to be in love with so much. We really just need the NA. So there's our monthly graph. Now I'm going to make an annual graph as well, but this annual graph, let's just okay, all we have to do is make a little copy of the sheet. And how about we'll this, where did we put this? How about we'll put it right here? So we'll create a copy and just put annual data, and let's just start changing a couple of things. This is the graph start date. This is the year. Okay, and we press Shift Control and the right little one. The last date is let's put the year, the last date, and then the last year. Okay, which is just equal a year, of course. So it's once you've done it for the whoops, excuse me, and then this, we start with the year, and this time just add 1 and Shift Control right little thing, and then we just do this one. Now this one, it's when this is less than this, and this is greater than this. So Shift Control this one, and then this one is simply we average instead of, well, we better redo this. So this is average if, and we click on time series data. You could have, I suppose, clicked on the monthly data, but I don't know if it's even more accurate to click on this or not. But and then we, whoops, let's press the F4 button there, and then let's compare that to the axis, F4 a couple times, and then let's go to the monthly data, the annual data. Okay. And the only thing we do is, in this one, is take this one and go to the gas price. Okay. I think let's sum all of the same thing. You click on this one, you go to the year, and then you go back and click on the series you want, which is the profit. And then we did a COUNTIF, which we said, okay, well, let's count in this for the 2001, how many hours do we have? And then this was what we would do is take the profit that we have. This is kind of per hour. We have to multiply, that's every single hours. We have to multiply by 16 hours, okay? And then we can multiply that by 365 divided by this, and then finally multiply by 1,000, okay? And divide it by 1,000, okay? And this is annual, and we don't really have to annualize it anymore. And this is our index, which, did this work? No, it can't have. This is now, we can leave the format control, but we better, this is, oh, I didn't realize that when you copied that, it fixed it. So if we put the electricity price, we get the electricity price. Good news, okay? And I hope now this one, we put, we simply put the year here. Shift control like this. Okay, shift control that one. Of course, we don't have anywhere near as many years. Okay, so we've just essentially done this. Now, the only thing I have to do, I think, is copy all these down. We're going to not waste nearly as much space here. Let's just... Okay, and now let's just make a graph. How about we'll make this first one control, and we have this one. Now, if you have a graph like this, all you have to do is go to Format Axis and make it a date axis, and then it fixes that one for you. And then we'll just put all of our, this is the famous decline in the annual gas price. It doesn't look quite as dramatic, maybe, as it really has been. Well, especially when you see that a few years ago it wasn't that much lower. So let's take some of this annual data and let's try this. I'm not sure this works. Click on all three of them. I'm hitting the control key. Control, 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 control C. and uh, Control V. If we put the electricity price, and let's get the, how about we'll get the one for Palo Verde. That's the, we've only got a partial year in here, so, and then we can get the, oh, it's starting in 2006. It's starting in 2001. That didn't work. And, okay, well, and spark spread. Now it went to 2001. Profit. Okay, this is the annualized profit. And if we look at PJM, we get this sum of the profit. Yeah, they've done it's done much better in PJM. I have to fix the scale a little bit, but I think that's enough. I'm on an hour, and if you've watched this, you've wasted an hour of your valuable time. Okay, but that's the kind of spark spreads. I'll call it U.S. U.S. merchant plant analysis.